Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you how to make these lovely paper Christmas tree ornaments. I used to make these when I was little, but I used to cut them out by hand, so they were nowhere near as perfect in the shape as what these ones are cut out on the Cricut, but it's really easy to make these. So I'm going to show you now how to design them in Design Space and then how to actually put them together. So let's jump straight in. So I'm just going to go quickly through the materials that you'll need for this particular project. So I've just got my basic tools here. So I've just got a weeding tool. I might need that for getting the cardstock off of the mat at the end. I've just got a ruler, my brayer. This is my most prized possession when it comes to making anything on my Cricut, because it just really helps get everything stuck down really well to the mat. I have got some nice white cord. This was from Hobbycraft. I picked up 3 of these. They were 3 for 2 at the time. I bought the white, the green and the red cords, and they're really nice for little projects like this. And then I've got my tools that are going to go into my Cricut. So I'm using a maker today, the original Cricut maker. This is just my fine point blade, so I've got that one, and then I've got my scoring wheel as well. So there is my 0-2 tip in my scoring housing. This is the double scoring wheel. It may ask for this, it may ask for the single one. I've got both, so I'm going to see, but I like using this rather than a stylus. Then the paper that I'm using today is from the Works. This is a 12 by 12 pack, and it comes with all of these really beautiful double-sided pieces of paper in it. I think they are 230 GSM. They're pretty thick though for 230 GSM. And the worst problem that I've got when I use this paper is choosing a design. So I'm not going to take too long to choose. I'm just going to go straight in and go for this one with the bows on it. So let's take that page out. As I said, it's ever so thick, and I love the way it cuts as well on my machine. I'm using a light grip mat today as well, and I think that is everything that we're going to need. Oh, apart from a glue gun, I've got my glue gun as well on hand because I'll need that to put my cord on with. So now we're in Cricut Design Space, and this is my profile page here. So you're now going to see all of my projects that I share for you guys to use, and this is the one that we're going to be making today. So they're like little paper old-fashioned decorations like what we used to get in the 80s. I'm showing my age a little bit now, but we used to get these all the time, and they were really lovely to have around the house. These ones are a little bit more sturdy because they're made from paper and cardstock. So if you just go onto my shared projects and then just click on that one, and it will come up and it's going to show you here now what elements I've used. So I have got the circle and square and a score line, and then I've also got these 2 items as well. I'm going to show you how to make your own, because I think these 2 might be chargeable, and if you haven't got a Cricut Access subscription, then they might cost you like 99 pence or something each for these 2 designs. So let's go to customize, and that will come up on the screen eventually. It's been a bit slow. Okay, so let me just unhide this one. So this is the one that I made myself using the circle and the square, and all I literally did was got myself a circle from the shapes menu, and I just popped it on the screen. I resized it just up the top here to 5 centimeters. You could make yours bigger if you want to, but it obviously depends on what size of cardstock that you're using, because you're going to use quite a lot if you make it bigger, because you need 20 of these circular shapes for your ornament. So let's now click on the shapes again and grab a square. We want to make this a lot smaller, so just using the drag handle I just made it really small, and then I just popped that on the top of here like so. Alright, and that's, I'm just eyeballing it really, roughly getting it in the middle. I might adjust it over a touch. And then all I did was just selected both of those items and then I welded them together. And then that gives you a Christmas tree ornament shape. Then I went back to the shapes menu again and got myself a score line. And then I just popped that onto there and selected all of those items and just went up to the align menu and clicked on center, and then that places my score line right in the dead center of my ornament. I can make that a little bit shorter just so that it doesn't have too much overhang when it actually scores on my machine. So that is ready now. Let's just select that again and then we can click on attach just down here. Now when we go through to the make it page, it's going to have this whole thing on the screen and we're going to be able to score and cut on the same mat one after the other. I'm just going to get my mat ready now. Let's pop this on. Bit of debris on there. Just make sure that your mat hasn't got any old bits of project on it. Doesn't really matter which way round it goes. Put it that way around so that the bows are upright. It also doesn't matter if your cardstock is double-sided like this one. It doesn't matter which way around you put it because you're going to make that decision afterwards when you're folding the actual card for making it into the ornament. I'm just going to give it a really good braid down. Alright, so on the screen you can see now that we've got all 20 of our ornaments on one cutting mat. So let's click on continue. It's going to find my machine. I'm using a maker as I said and it's connected through USB today. So I'm going to actually choose the glitter cardstock setting for this. I know it's not glitter cardstock, but I have been having the best luck cutting with this setting recently. It's such a great setting. So you can see on the screen it is asking me for the double scoring wheel, which is the 02, which is the one I showed you. So I'm now just going to pop my mat into my machine and then put my scoring wheel into clamp B and start. So I forgot to say that you're going to also need some glue. I'm using tacky glue today and I like to use these little quilt clips as well. You can get these in lots of different places. I'll put a link below to some that you might like. But these are brilliant for holding together things when you've glued them with a wet glue like this one. So this is all cut. Let's get this off the mat. So let's just flip the mat over and get everything off of there. Alright, so we've got 20 of these now. So what we want to do is choose which side we're going to have on the inside of our actual ornament. And I'm going to show you on this one. This is a double-sided piece of paper from the same pack but just a different colourway. And so this is the outside that you can see here. So if I wanted the bows to be the most visible like this check one is here, what I'm going to do with my fold is go that way. So I'm going to have my florals on the inside of my fold and my bows on the outside. So that's if I want it to be that way round. If I wanted to see more of the floral, I would fold it that way. So then I've got my floral on the outside and my bows on the inside, but I'm going to go for the bows because I want to be able to see more of the bows. Let me just put that one to one side. So what I'm going to do now is just fold all of my little ornaments over. Alright, so they're all folded now. So the next step is to glue the first section. So I'm just going to get a couple of binder clips ready, and what I like to do is do them into sets of 5. So I'll get my glue. So now you've got your folded piece, and what you're going to want to do is open it up like this. Okay, and get about halfway down the round. So ignore the top and just put a line of glue along there. And I'm going to do that on 4 or 5 of them. You don't need to be overly like accurate with it, as long as you're roughly in the center of each one, that will be fine. Alright, so now we've got the glue on, we just need to fold them over, and I'm just going to put them together with each other like this. And this is just purely for drying purposes, so let's just do that. And this is where the little quilting clips come in. If you've got binder clips or the little bulldog type clips like these, you could also use these as well, just to hold them on there. I like these little quilting clips just because they're cute and they come in nice colours. So I just put them like that, and I just leave that to dry, and I'll just carry on and glue all of my others now. These are the last 5 now, so I'm just going to stick them together and just pop another quilting clip on there just to hold them together. And then I've got 4 sets. So now all I'm going to do is leave them to dry. They need to be really thoroughly dried. It's really important that they're really well stuck together. So I'm going to leave them now. I'm going to go and peel the spuds for dinner and get that sorted, and then once I've done that and fed the dogs, I will be back and we'll do the next bit. Right then, so the potatoes are peeled and everything's in the oven, so now I can do the next step. So here we are, everything is stuck together now, and I'm going to just take the clips off of these so that we can do the next stage of the gluing. So now all your pieces are stuck together and you can't open them again. Okay, so what we want to do now is glue them together for the next section. Right, so what we're going to do now with these is just pop the glue at the top, and we're going to go down to about maybe 5mm from the top corner downwards with the glue, and then at the bottom we're going to do the same sort of measurement, maybe a little bit more at the bottom. Okay, and we're going to put them like that on top of one another. So what we're going to want to do, I was going to glue that one then, but I'm not, I'm just going to stick it on. Okay, so that is on there. And again, what I'm going to do is do these in batches of maybe 5 again, because it just makes it a little bit easier when you're putting the clips on. These are going to move around, as you can see when I'm putting them on. It doesn't matter too much because we can straighten them out when we put the quilting clips on there. So, and again, it's very important that we let them dry really well. I would suggest using plenty of glue. Don't worry too much about overdoing it with the glue. Right, so I've got 5 together now. So what I'll do is just give them a little press down, and I'm going to just grab again some little quilting clips and pop them on the top. Try and get them lined up as well as you can along here so that it's nice and flat. So just going to do that again now for all of the others. I've got all 4 clips now filled up with my drying pieces again. So what I'm going to do is just leave them for another 10 minutes or so to dry off as much as possible, and then what we'll need to do is take off the clips, and we need to glue each section together like we have with the others. So we've got one really thick section all glued up together, but again, it's really important to let them dry now for as long as we can. So I'm going to go off and do something else again, and then I'll come back. So next we want to just take off all of the quilting clips, and then we're going to glue it together in the same fashion that we did before, just popping the glue at the top and then at the bottom, and just putting one of the 4 pieces on top of this one. And I'm just going to use a quilting clip again just for now, while this is the thickness that I can still get the quilting clips on at. For the next section, because I need to put these 2 pieces together as well, it was too thick to get into my quilting clips, so what I had to do was just sit and hold it for about 10 minutes or so, just to make sure that it was nice and dry. So now that we have glued this together and we've got it all together, so each section has now been glued in the same way as before, going across the top and the bottom here. It's all dried, and what I'm going to do is fold it round now. So I'm just going to do this very, very gently, just in case any bits come unstuck. And you want to try and get it by the very last piece here if you can, to pull it round. And then this is where we're going to glue next, okay? So you can see we've got another piece there. So we're going to put a bit of glue here and a bit of glue here as well. So we're just going to use our little clips then to hold it in place just while we wait for it to dry again. You could also use a paper clip if you wanted to, but I find that the quilting clips just hold it a little bit better. So we're just going to put the glue on there again. If you wanted to as well, you could use the tacky glue like I am and let it dry a little bit and become tacky before you stick it together, and sometimes that does help with sticking it together a little bit easier. So let's just put that around there. And we want to get in between here. So if I hold it and get that separated, as you can see there, and then just get my little clip and pop it straight into that gap, so it's now holding it together. And then we'll do the same at the bottom, just in there. So now we're holding those two together, and we're just going to leave that to dry again for about another 10 minutes or so. While the glue's drying on the ornament, I'm just going to get the cord and measure it out ready for the top of the little ornament. And there's a couple of ways of doing this. With this one, I made a little knot on the end and I threaded it through and then tied it at the other end. But with this one here, I glued it into the top as just a little loop just there, so you can see where it was stuck in and then looped over. So I think I'm going to do that with this one. You can see straight through the bottom of there. If I put my finger on it, you can see where it is. So if you've got like a big darning needle or something, you would be able to thread your cord through and do it that way and just fasten it at the top with the glue. But what I'm going to do today is just make a little loop at the top, and I'm just going to stick it in the top and glue it in. So let's just grab a tiny bit of this. I'm just going to cut it off. Probably got too much here, but it's just a little bit extra just in case. So I'm going to try and thread it down into the hole there. I don't want it to go in too far, but just enough that it's going to create a nice loop on the top. And then once my glue gun is heated up, which doesn't take too long generally, there we go. So I can now just lift that up, and I'm just going to pop a little blob of glue on the top there, and that will just hold that in place. It's been a good few minutes now, so I'm going to take off the little quilting clips and hopefully it's going to be stuck together. Yeah, so that's stuck together, and it's such a cute little ornament. It just looks so nice, and they make lovely gifts for people as well. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, I'd love it if you would hit the like button, because it really helps the channel out. If you've got any questions or comments, I'd love to hear from you, so drop them down below, and I always try to answer them personally as soon as I can. So if you've got any questions or need any help, don't be afraid to contact me and drop those down below in the comments box. So all that's left to be said now is have a great week. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon. Bye!